Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to our Axumite campaign. Hilariously, the Himyarites have proposed a peace treaty between the two of us. We, of course, have a mission to defeat or subjugate the Himyarites. And so that means we're probably going to decline this. On top of that, they also want us to pay them 3,000 gold coins for this peace, when we've just recently defeated them in the field. It was a defense, I believe. So we're going to, obviously, deny that offer. Yeah, they poisoned Eon Bissianaf in the field. And Bana had to take up the helm and defend against the armies of Himyar. And we beat them. And now they're chilling in Zafar, bloodied, but not yet beaten. And it looks like they were trying to, I don't know, either assassinate or deceive Gumshoe there. I'm sure we'll find out in just a moment here. So Eon Bissianaf, he's resting up, he's in his bed, recovering from the poison. I guess maybe propaganda-wise, we're kind of keeping that away from the public. So Detaunus, our good friend Detaunus, who is a governor, I believe, of Arabia, if not Ethiopia. No, he's the governor of Arabia. And Detaunus, he's taken this opportunity to spread some lies about Eon Bissianaf. He's saying, yeah, he got afflicted with chlamydia, and now he's bedridden because, as we all know, Eon Bissianaf thrice nightly has a kinky BDSM session and just whips the absolute shit out of some slaves and then, bums them or something. I'm not entirely sure, but the point is that Detaunus is spreading fucking lies, and we have the option to pay him off or ignore him. I think we can easily pay him off. It will cost Eon Bissianaf 15 influence, but we of course have 115 from all of the battles we've fought. So we kept Detaunus quiet. I think we want to take a look at this asshole and ask him why, Detaunus. Why? We gave you this important position of power, and you just threw it right in our fucking face. Why? You were Castellan, and I'm not sure we want to even have you as governor anymore. I mean, what is your skill anyway? Scholar? We don't need that shit. We need Nazul, perhaps, to come in with his tax rate. So I think what we'll do is we will actually uninstall Detaunus as the governor of Arabia, because he's an absolute dickhead, and we will instead install our son. There we go. How do you like that one, Detaunus? You son of a bitch. You don't like it at all, I bet. Now he's crying, he's weeping, he's sailing back to Ethiopia, trying to explain to his wife his ambitious plans and how they managed to fucking fall right back in his face. Just fly right back in his face. And his wife is having none of it. She's probably quite upset, as you would be. I mean, you've lost a position of power. You got a little too ambitious, and now we're sailing back to Ethiopia. And we're going to have to live with your mother again. It's going to be loads of fun. Detaunus, did you not see this coming? I don't know. Anyway, and Bana has recruited some spears in Udaman. He's going to stay in the city for a few more turns. A turn or two at the very least, so that we can replenish our infantry. And then we will march on Zafar. Because we do have, as I said, that mission to annihilate the Himyarites. We also have missions to consolidate Ethiopia and Arabia Felix, so we will get on that. It looks like Gumshoe managed to avoid two separate plots to deceive him. One was an opportune failure. The other was just a regular old failure. Both of them are still kicking around near Gumshoe, but luckily for us, Gumshoe has a level up, so we can put some points into maybe some anti-agent actions, such as distract. I think we need probably retribution right away. That would be great, because then we can actually maybe get rid of some of these agents. Hayu has been discovered. Yes, in the Inspector Hayu. I completely forgot who that was. He's right there. Now we will try to either assassinate him, which is a pretty good chance of success, actually, or we can manipulate him, which is pretty useless. So, we're going to try to assassinate Hayu. We're going to bribe someone near to him, perhaps his son or something. And there we go. We have succeeded. But it seems we only wounded him. We didn't kill him, we wounded him. His son... I didn't know this at the time, but his son is actually... he has a damaged eye, so his depth of field is kind of off, you know, his depth perception. So when he went to stab Hayu, he actually only nicked him in the leg. You know, a nick in the leg is nothing to scoff at, though. So he's going to be bedridden in Zafar for a while, but he's not dead. Anyway, in Ethiopia, we have the ability to upgrade some buildings. And I think first things first, what we would like to do is upgrade these hunting lodges. That will increase squalor, which is not an issue right now because we have 5 sanitation. It will increase food, commerce, and resource production. So we'll drop a couple thousand on that. And then we'll just leave it as is. We don't need to upgrade anything further. The molten waves are still kicking around. I think we ought to take them out with Latam when the time comes. But it doesn't really seem necessary, really. What is necessary, though, is us ending our turn. We need to zip through time here so that we can advance on Zafar pretty quickly. I completely forgot we need to issue an edict in Udaman now that our son Nazul is there. And military fervor is probably a good one. Unfortunately for us, the sanitation is... it's leaving something to be desired. It's not, like, totally disgusting. You know, raw sewer running down the streets, but there's just kind of, like, you know, coffee cups, plastic bags, just, you know, random, I don't know, I guess, like, trash and shit like that on the side of the road. Basically, we're not dealing with, like, disease-spreading sewage everywhere. It's more just, like, you know, kind of unsightly littering. Our religious influence is, of course, increasing ever upwards and onwards. It is 2.2% per turn, which is putting a dent in our religious difference penalty. It's going to be quite a while until that's gone, I think, but we, at the very least, we can remove our army within a few turns. I think, what is our current public order difference? I think it was 9? Yes, it is 9. So, well, once we remove the army, there will actually be a bit of an issue with public order. But of course, when we move the army, it will be to capture Zafar. And when we station our army in Zafar, that will increase our military presence yet again. But anyway, I think for now we shall end the turn. And I do nothing. We don't really have any plans for next turn, other than passively replenish troops. Well, this is just fucking dandy. The Sassanid Persians have declared war on us. We don't have any allies to side with us. And it appears that all of these assholes here have declared war on us. So that's Mazun here. I believe Makran as well. Makran, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. And the Lakhmids. So there's 3 client states around us that have immediately declared war. So it's gonna be a rough start, I think. Luckily, the Sassanids are also at war with the Eastern Romans. I know we have some missions to declare war on the Eastern Romans, but I think we need as much of their support as we can get. I think we are actually probably done for. This is probably the end of the campaign here, because if, you know, a single region faction like the Himyarites is enough to, you know, they're putting up enough resistance to cause us issues. I think the Sassanids will very easily roll over us with the remainder of their client states. And I'm not entirely sure why the Sassanids have declared war. We didn't do anything to them. I don't think, you know, Himyar is allied with the Sassanids. No. What is it that we did other than being Christian, I suppose? I guess it's just religious aversion, mostly. But our relations are going to deteriorate very quickly because we are at war with just a million client states of the Sassanids, so they're not going to stand for that. We're gonna have a bit of an issue though, because there is, oh shit, the Sultan himself is actually in Bernice here. There is another stack in Alia or Isla, and then there's a small fleet just south of them in the port. In response, I think we'll have to sail our own fleet to Adulis. We will have to raise a new army, possibly. I don't think there's any way to fight this. Should we possibly broker a peace with the Himyarites? Or should we capture Zafar and try to hold them there? The problem is, there's a bunch of client states that are going to be coming from the east, and then the Sassanids are going to be coming from the north and attacking Ethiopia, the heart of our faction. I'm not confident. I don't think it's going to go well. So maybe we'll try to broker a peace with the Himyarites. They don't want a peace unless we give them shit tons of money. So what we may have to do is immediately march out and besiege the city. Although, having said that, I don't know where their armies are. So they're going to attack us at some point, unless we hire an onager, like so, and then march on the city. Okay. No, it appears that Sad, I don't know who Sad is, but he is going to be reinforcing Zafar. He's somewhere in the fog of war just outside of the city, but once we capture Zafar proper, the Himyarites will have no choice but to, I don't know, go migratory or, you know, create a rebel army. I'm not sure. And I don't think we have much choice but to capture the city, hope that it gives us some income. In the meantime, we can raise an army led by, I would say, probably Eon Bissi, who is a champion rider. You can see that. Amazingly, he's a champion rider. I did not realize. Or I'd forgotten or something. He's going to raise an army called the Guardians of the Desert, which is not entirely incorrect, because we're most definitely going to have to be guarding the desert. And we just have some really shitty recruitment options. So I think what we would need most would be probably some swordsmen. At the very least, Eon Bissi can, you know, make a final stand in Ethiopia. Or Aksum, I suppose, would be the actual name of the city. So he can make a stand there, which would be great. We're going to have an issue with income until we disband this onager, because it is just really fucking expensive. These guys dine on, like, caviar, on gold-leafed bread plates, I suppose. It's just nuts. The amount of exorbitant wealth that is just wasted on these assholes is crazy. But I think we're going to have to take Zafar as quickly as possible, so we'll jump in on the battlefield. It doesn't look like these armies will be too much of a hassle. We just have to be wary of, like, the archer towers, etc. But anyway, I shall see you all on the battlefield. Alright, here we are outside the walls of Zafar. It looks like it would be an easy assault. We just have to take out these towers here, capture the gate, and then, you know, march into the capture point, because there really are no towers aside from the gate right here, so at the very least we can avoid that. So we're just going to shell the gate with our catapults. We may even go into first-person mode. You know, take some pleasure out of this campaign while it's still is going on anyway. I think we're not going to, you know, survive much longer with the Sassanids coming. Oh shit, our catapults are wasting ammunition, firing on the enemy catapult, which is just facing the entire wrong direction. And speaking of facing the wrong fucking direction, here come some reinforcements. So we've got 2 units of Desert Raiders, which we can block with our spears if we are quick. We can, you know, deploy them like so, and then they will have no choice but to attack us to enter the city. And if we, you know, do something like this as well, we can get some missiles thrown down on them. We just need to be sure that the enemy doesn't have too many missile units or archer towers to, you know, just really fuck up my army. So, we're going to deploy to defend against these reinforcements, as piddly as they are. All the while, my catapult will remove these archer towers so that they do not cause huge amounts of casualties. Looks like we are not doing so hot on that front, though. AKA, we are missing... Oh my god, look at the gore there. Pink mist. Cherry pie and all that. Okay, well, we're going to have to be a little bit more accurate with these catapults if we have any hope of accomplishing this mini-mission. Boom! Let loose, and... we missed again. It's horrendous. Okay, well, one more shot, I think, and then that's it. It looks like we're firing on the... Oh my fucking god! Of course, this is what would happen. Obviously not paying attention. I'm just really ruffled by the whole Sassanid situation. So, in summation, I put my spears here, you know, to kind of block the cavalry from entering the city, but they just said, why would we charge into your spears when we can easily charge into the flanks of your undefended catapults and swordsmen? And I gotta be like, you know what, to be honest, I can see why you would say that. That seems to be like a smart move, but I was very much not paying attention there. As a result, this watchtower is still standing. We have no more ammunition to take it out. It's this last volley, and then we're gonna have to deal with it, it seems. And oh shit, look at it. What are the chances our last volley was enough to take out that tower? But I think we'll grab a unit of desert spears and attempt to burn down that gate, and our remaining spears out in the field will try to salvage the situation as these swordsmen move to advance on the gate. Well, we'll have to keep our swordsmen, I think, in reserve out here, actually, to deal with the enemy infantry. Speaking of, we'll get some camels out here to try to maybe take out these missile units when they are not defended. And look at that, we are losing huge amounts of Zafar swordsmen because I would say it appears that my missile units might be firing on myself, or it's just that, you know, there's huge amounts of horses trampling them into the fucking dirt, which is probably more accurate. Look at this. Okay, the Himyarites have managed to rout a unit of swordsmen, and they have severely damaged another because I was asleep at the goddamn wheel. And there we go. Our spears are going to run them down and reform up on this hill, actually, so that we may defend against the encroaching enemy reinforcements here. We'll grab all of our swordsmen, create a secondary line. We want our bowmen, I believe, in a tight formation to fire upon the enemy as they approach. And I suppose our slingers can come on the flank here and do a bit of damage as well. And our far trackers, well, you know what, they will... what are they again? Adana trackers, my mistake. Ooh. I would really like to release the hounds at, say, these desert raiders when the gate comes down, because then at the very least we can do some damage to the horsemen while, you know, we don't actually have to engage with any units. We don't have to commit any actual units to the fight. But anyway, we're going to try to run off these hurlers if at all possible. And look at this, they don't even care. They're just wandering right into a full-blown cavalry charge, but we have to be careful of how far we go out because the enemy catapult is getting fresh. They've decided to let loose on us, and I'm not sure if they quite can hit us where our cavalry is currently situated, and that was a really weak charge, it seems. We didn't really kill many of these hurlers, although the catapult is not going to stop trying to kill us whilst we are slaughtering their hurlers. In the meantime, we're going to try to at least rout one unit. There we go. We've routed one unit, and we will pack it in and get our 2 units of cavalry to withdraw. Holy shit. Whoa, they roasted one cavalryman there, unfortunately. We're going to try to flee before the slingers can let off any sling stones, because that will be devastating to our tiny little cavalry units. There we go. Someone's been rallied, and it is these desert hurlers. Our spearmen are still working away to destroy the gatehouse. Looks like my trackers have released the hounds, which is nice, and it's really ineffective, though, at this point in time, because the gate is still closed. Okay, well, it looks like the enemy slingers are letting loose on our lines, but we'll move our own slingers to counter. Our archers as well need to be firing. Our spears are going to enter a spear wall formation. Our desert spears will not do anything. The Razguard, though, will, I don't know, create a shield screen. That would be great. We'll get our camels in here. There we go. The remainder of our raiders, our desert raiders, will try to do some work and eliminate some of these units. But what do we have? We've got desert spears advancing up this hill here, and our light Afar swordsmen might be a good match for these Baltha warriors. I'm not entirely sure. But at the very least, we can get 2 units to come around on the flank here, like so. This unit is very weak, and it will also come around on the flank. But our cavalry will probably do most of the work once we engage with most of our infantry. For example, okay, well, we took out the enemy gate there. Looks like the hounds are now loose. Can we engage this cavalry with our spears? I would say so. And now, I'm not sure what our archers are firing at, but they're going to stop. Our slingers will focus on these very heavy axe infantry, which are Zafar sentinels, which, look at these guys. They're pretty badass, actually, but they're exhausted from all of the marching, and it's led by Sad, which is the most obviously depressing name in the whole of the kingdom. But it looks like our Razguard are going to have to engage. Our spears are also going to have to engage. Our Baltha warriors are going to come around. Well, not Baltha warriors, sorry. My Afar swordsmen are going to come around the flank to engage the Baltha warriors whilst we charge out with our spears. We just want to get a bit of a counter charge off. There we go. We are still going to receive catapult fire from those catapults. Look at this. These guys just don't know what to do with themselves. They're receiving tons of slinger fire, and we're just going to let it happen until, you know, they engage us fully with their line. We'll charge in with our swordsmen to try to do some flanking maneuvers, and looks like our spears are engaging their cavalry who have charged down the hill to meet us. Hopefully they do all right on their own there for now. But our cavalry is destroying those missile units. How about these guys? Are they receiving any casualties? No, but we're going to countercharge with all of our units, get our slingers to stop. Okay, we'll get our raiders to just fucking annihilate these guys. That would be great. Meanwhile, this unit is going to charge into those spears, like so. Hopefully we can do some damage and rout these guys and move on into the city. Our desert spears are on their own, but they can hold for a little longer on their own whilst we try to break Sad. That would be great. We'll get these camels to attack these Baltha warriors, though. That would be ideal. We are not losing too many men, but our swordsmen are probably not as strong as I'd hoped, although we are destroying these Baltha warriors. We'll get a couple more rear charges off with our cav, but we want all of our units to remain where they are, the infantry units, that is. We will consolidate with our spears, and we'll get these 2 units of swordsmen to deal with these axemen. It looks so... Oh, shit. It looks like the catapult got a very nice shot off on our cav and just roasted like 20 horses and men alike. It's just awful. The stench of burnt hair and flesh is filling the air. We're luckily getting a mass rout going on in the middle of the field here, but we desperately need to move our cav so we don't receive many more hits from... There we go. We've routed Sad and the remainder of his army. Holy shit, those catapults are nuts. How is it that they're firing on us only now? It's very bizarre. But we very much need to push into the city. We'll grab our spears, our swordsmen as well, and then our cavalry will, seal the deal, cutting down the remainder of the men who are running away. Oh, shit. It is very important that we capture this city with as few casualties as possible. I mean, that's true for most everything, but very, very true for this particular campaign now that the Sassanids have hopped in. It's taken a huge turn for the worst. Speaking of casualties, it looks like our spearmen are fighting desperately against these desert raiders, and they're not doing as well as I'd hoped. I would think these spears would do quite good against you know, charging cavalry, but they are charging down a ramp, and we are fighting up the ramp. But our archers are going to let loose on the cav. There, who's running and why? I could not tell you. It is our swordsman. It looks like a unit of a far swordsman has broken and is routing, which is not surprising. They took just an absolute fucking shit kicking when those cav jumped in there. But holy shit, we killed Sad, and now we just need to get our archers to deal with these skirmisher cav before we advance further. Looks like our spearmen, rather. Our desert spears are doing quite well against these raiders now. They're almost ready to rout. There's only 30 of them left, but then we have some more units to deal with. Our archers, for some reason, are having some issues letting loose, though. I don't know. Maybe they're not in position. Maybe they have some kind of like moral issue, you know, like they've gathered together in like a union and they're like, "Sir, we men of the bow find it most unruly that we are firing willy-nilly upon the enemy. We would very much like to first send them not 1, but 2, 3 letters if possible, granting them safe passage out of the city if we were to instead attack, so that we do not actually have to kill anyone." Because, I don't know, maybe my archers are pacifists is what I'm getting at. We've routed a unit of cavalry. Our archers are making quick work of these skirmishers. Volley after volley is raining down upon these men, and we just need to get our spears to, I don't know, build like a spear line so that we're, you know, not in any risk of being a shit. Just as I fucking say that, look at that, my spearmen get charged by the enemy. We'll get Ambana in there with his Raz Guard, his Raz Al Ghul Guard, and they'll take care of those skirmishers who are now just getting totally decimated by my archers. But unfortunately, there's some friendly fire going on. You know, it's like danger close. This unit of spears desperately needs to get out of combat because they will probably rout, if not so. Okay, Ambana's Razguard and our Tor warriors are going to deal with these skirmishers, whilst our missile units just rain hell down upon these desert spears on the wall. If we can rout them, it'll be much easier going, that's for sure. Then we can take out that catapult, just for shits and giggles, I would say. And then, I don't know, we can advance into the city itself with our 3 units of spears we have here. I would say these 3 units can remain outside, and then we'll just back up, you know, Ambana with 2 units of swords. There we go. So we got 5 units ready to enter into the city. We just need to, I would say, throw a huge amount of missiles down on these spears. Look at this. We're going to get a nice cinematic view. You can see that I had to turn down the quality of Attila quite a lot, actually, just to get a steady frame rate. I would say half of that is because I've got a somewhat old processor. It's an i5. But also, it's, I think, because recording Attila is just very demanding. So please, forgive the textures. I mean, you guys watch my medieval campaigns. You know all about me and graphics. I don't really care that much. I mostly care about the gameplay, and this is just... Well, no, this is not the most thrilling battle, that's for sure. And in fact, this campaign is not the most thrilling campaign. It's probably going to be absolute dog shit now that the Sassanids have declared war on us, so I'm not too pleased with that. None too pleased, I would say. But regardless, we're going to charge in with our swordsmen. There we go, and our spears are going to, I don't know, consolidate into the courtyard there. We just want our swordsmen to engage these spearmen. They're not receiving huge amounts of casualties, so we're not going to really bother. We want our spears, I think, to go a little bit slower so that our swords can instead engage these guys before anything else. There we go. So there's only 100 of them left, and for a second there I thought they routed. And our far swordsmen are very, very confused. Look at this. They're charging down. One single man is like, oh, hey, you guys. Oh, shit, look at that. They just stabbed his head clean off. My word. Okay, my Afar swordsmen apparently are very, very dumb. They're just going one at a time and very easily getting killed. So instead, we will engage with most of our units because apparently we can't just engage with a single unit. We need to... Oh my word, that is a massive stab going on there. We need to, you know, commit huge amounts of men just to deal with this pathfinding issue that is caused by these gates. And look at this, these arrow towers way the hell over here are firing at this gate. Like, these guys are in this tower, squinting. They don't know who's who. They're just letting loose and hoping that they hit somebody. Someone, anyone, hopefully an enemy. They have no fucking clue because it's like 10 miles away. We'll get our Zafar swordsman to take out that catapult because they're a pain in my butt. Meanwhile, our second group will move in to hold some ground whilst Mbasa and his spears push into the capital here. So it looks like we've got some more sentinels here. Zafar sentinels. I'm not sure how we will break these guys. Do we have any hounds left? Answer is yes. 30 hounds? I'm not sure what's going on. Can we call them back? Look at that. We can call our hounds back. Holy fuck. Never before has this been seen. I guess our Adana trackers never actually released the hounds, which is what we're going to do now. Look at this. We'll release the hounds, and they will take care of these spears here, ensuring that they break, and maybe we can disrupt the enemy lines with our hounds so that Mbasa can get in there. Is this going to be enough to break these guys? Look at that. It was. Holy shit. Call back the hounds. These are the best trained hyenas I've ever seen. My word. Okay, so we'll get our Afar. I keep saying Afar, but they're Adana trackers. We'll get our Adana trackers. Don't tell them that I get confused, because they will probably petition me, I don't know, to get more educated about the geography of the immediate region. They'll be like, this guy thinks we are from Afar, but we are from Adana. What an absolute joke Ian Bissinaf is. I guess that's probably what they sound like. Okay, well, we'll release the hounds in hopes that that disrupts the lines enough for our spears to do some damage. It's going to be tough. We're charging uphill at axe units who are in a very defensible position, and these axes will probably cut through our spears, but I'm hoping that we can hurry and make use of these hounds, although it doesn't look like 30 hounds is really making much of a difference. Not at all. But we're going to fire, maybe? I don't know. This is going to be a tough one. We could always flank around with our Afar swordsman. Okay, you know, we'll flank around with 2 units of Afar swordsman. They're going to suffer some serious... Oh, my word, look at this. The Zafar... What the fuck? These Zafar sentinels are like the most kind men I've ever seen in all of Himyar, because they have decided to remove themselves from the very defensible position they had, and instead they've elected to get hugely flanked. So, I mean, thanks a lot. What's his nuts? It is Zora, you son of a bitch. Zora, of course, played by Antonio Banderas, so he's like, it is no problem, for my name is Zora. It is me, Antonio Banderas, and, because the joke is that Zora was played by Antonio. Okay, look at that, we've won. These, fucking Zafar sentinels have just done themselves no services. Look at that, they're routing with, it's just like the least amount of effort ever involved, and they just said, fuck it, take our home city, what do we care? But anyway, we've captured Zafar, and I would say it was pretty easy, aside from getting flanked at the very beginning there by those reinforcements, specifically the charges by their cavalry. It went swimmingly. Let's see, we lost 380 men, but we managed to kill 1,200, so that's pretty crazy. This was a city assault, and we lost nearly 3 times as little men as the defenders of the city did. Like, what are the chances of that? Usually it's the other way around. But apparently I'm just some kind of fucking military genius, and I managed to capture Zafar with minimal losses. Look at this. Okay, we can raise, loot and occupy, or sack. I would very much like to loot and occupy for the gold, because we will need it to defend against the Sassanids, but the issue is the public order will force us to stay in Zafar. But I think we'll have enough public order due to our work in Udaman, so, you know what, we'll loot and occupy, and that should be more than enough public order to keep us going. Look at that. We've captured Zafar. We can immediately... what am I trying to do? I'm trying to... There we go. Okay, I need to immediately disband this onager so that we can make... Cool, blimey, look at that. We can make 912 gold per turn. Unfortunately, the public order in Zafar is... It's negative 50 per turn. Going to be negative 30 next turn. The religious difference and the instability is going to kick us in the nuts. But those extra negative 10 points I don't think is much of an issue. It wouldn't... This won't hold us down for much longer than we would have otherwise. What we need to do immediately, though, is first upgrade our force to maybe not occupation. I would think that self-sufficiency is what we need right now, because we are going to need huge amounts of cash. Isn't it weird that the first bonus we get is to nomads? Probably one of the least likely factions we would fight right away, aside from like Rome and I thought there would be an Eastern, a bonus to, you know, fighting Easterners, but it doesn't seem. It's nomads, Romans, and barbarians. I guess we're not supposed to fight the Sassanids. I guess, I don't know. Anyway, we're going to put a point into self-sufficiency, which will reduce our upkeep by like 200 per turn. Holy shit, that's not too bad at all. Whoa, no. We've increased our income by 400 gold per turn somehow. I'm not sure exactly. And that's just great. What we need to do now is just kill these remaining two armies, and that's it for the Himyarites. And then we just have to look forward to, you know, like... what is this? Mazun and Makran coming in, just totally destroying us, basically. All the while, the Sassanids are going to march from the north. I'm not looking forward to it, but there's not much else we can do. I think we may as well take a look at the rest of our notifications, and then I will deal with the rebuilding of Zafar off screen, and I can tell you all about it at the beginning of next episode. I think we're going to try to... survive for a little bit longer, but I'm not very confident that this campaign will continue much longer. A, because the Sassanids are going to kick the shit out of us, and B, I'm finding it a little bit boring, actually, at this point. But I don't know, maybe it will get exciting as we try to survive against the Sassanid onslaught. I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, thank you everyone for watching. As I said, I will deal with the rebuilding of Zafar off screen. None of this is really important. We killed Sad and Zora. We received an equipment contract. We've developed specialized cultivation. Detonis has arrived back in Ethiopia, and we have finished our levy camp in Udaman, which means that we can now recruit just huge amounts of weird units, such as Desert Tribesmen, Afar Swordsman, which we will do immediately. And, yeah, it's great. Anyway, thank you everyone for watching. I hope you're having a good time with this series. I will see you all with the next video.